Okay. All right, everybody. Boy, oh boy, oh boy, oh boy. Well, welcome to the community manager meeting. Last week, we actually got distracted because of all the things going on here in the studio. Last week, we had Irvin Foster in, my writing partner for the Hemsley Foster Project. And also, we had John Pace. Oh, there we go. Let me get this off of here. So, everybody, let me just cue this up. We're going to get this officially started. I didn't actually do that, so let me get it. It's rolling there, Vic. Transition to, I want to get the recording here.
That's right.
There we go. All right, everyone. So welcome to the community manager meeting for 11/22. We've got a recording initiated for all the people who will be watching the meeting later on. And there's going to be more and more people doing that because we're adding more and more people who are doing their channels, not to mention our own efforts at building a collaborative base. In other words, we're working with more and more with people. So I want to welcome everyone once again to the meeting. Vic, how you feeling?
Oh, I'm all right, man. Taking what they call those last-minute networking phone calls, took it right up to like the last 4 or 5 minutes before I had to say, okay, we got to stop. Got to go over here and do this meeting.
Part of what we said about the community manager meeting is that we're not going to just do unnecessary talk. We're going to always deal with just really things that need to be done. And so some of the stuff can change. And it can sometimes be shortened up, and it may depend on how the day or the night is going, because that's an optional night for us.
Absolutely.
So but there are some
ready
things.
for it, man.
So there are some things that's come up.
Yes.
So first of all, so let me just explain that. We've been interacting with more and more folks. Phil Perry, and talking with them, they're really excited about doing some things too. Of increasing revenue streams and doing more product, because Phil can still record and shoot and make new product. So he's always interested in doing that. So it actually gave us something to talk about as it relates to that. I'll give everybody a look, too, by the way. Let's take a look.
And just in case people are joining new, won't you tell them a little bit more about Phil Perry, if they don't know?
But for those who don't know, Phil Perry, R&B legend of an artist.
Yes.
Well, that's the one I want. Okay. Let's see which one I have here. Okay. Who we've actually interacted with in the past in his days before he was actually very well known. Mm-hmm. And so, but recently we went out and recorded, shot his rehearsal. That's becoming a thing of us. Remember, we try to give you guys ideas for shows. And Vic, that's an example too.
Right.
The show we did is that we went out to Phil Perry's rehearsal and shot video. Now, going out to people's rehearsals and shooting video was an idea we had almost from the beginning, because we used to shoot our own rehearsals.
True.
So, and we think it's a successful and easy thing to do. Usually something that tends to be kind of successful. Because you can, if people are having a good time and in the rehearsal, they're talented, it'll be good. So we went out and shot the rehearsal,
right,
and everything really went well with that.
What's the selling point as it relates to? Is it better? See, the advantage that you have with this one is when we're talking about somebody who's already a known quantity as it relates to an artist. You really are selling that upcoming, just starting. Go do this. Don't wait for somebody known. So even if you guys don't know who Phil Perry is the example is we had taken advantage of an opportunity that we had a philosophy of, regardless if it was Phil Perry or anyone else. So really we're trying to encourage you to go from ground day one with your artists. Consider all the content that they're in development with in their production, not just current and post.
Well, that's what we're saying. In other words, you need to get going with dealing with these kinds of things no matter what you're doing. Here, take a look. And so Phil Perry too, artists, like I said, we say no matter what you're selling, this is the way to sell it. And we think that you might as well go in and get busy with the learning model.
Right.
Also, Vic, for someone like Phil Perry, Vic went straight to the idea that folks like this, we're going to tell them they should just come in here and do their shows.
Yes. I believe that a lot of times you make the job easier in show and tell world. And almost everybody, even with the experience I had with a producer who's doing very well, you know him, Larry D. Got some wonderful news. He's going to be coming through the studio. We'll share that with you maybe not next week because it's our last week of the month thing. But if we do decide to do this anyway, in lieu of that, it's one of those examples where you sit there and he says his whole effort is about cross collaboration and not just trying to do the business deal, the production, the development. Everything becomes a storyline. And I think the example what you're saying with Phil Perry, whether it's a known artist or not, you have to start with a visual storyline because this world is turned into a visual base, not just an email base, not just a text base. You have to be able to cut through so people can see the success story, not only when it's after. Because so many people put everything into wait, launch, and then they go, well, wonder if it doesn't work.
No, we say get going now.
Yeah.
That's part of everything we're doing. That's part of why we have this meeting, community manager meeting, because we think you should get busy now. Now, how does this actually relate to you, again, even in a more specific way? Because you could do your own version of these same kinds of projects. For example, you can find artists that are around you to interview.
Right.
Or you can find artists around you to come and go out and videotape.
Yep.
And artists of all kinds.
Yeah.
Whether it be, singers, dancers, performing, all kinds of performing folks. You can go out and do that. Same kind of thing as we're doing in your own particular areas and be known for that. And that's a kind of a recurring theme. Remember, what are we trying to do? We're emphasizing the ways that people use their channels. It's interesting how some people, now we got to bring something up, you guys. And again, it does range, and everybody, I'm not gonna belabor the point, but I think people really need to take a realistic look at how much they want to invest, right, in their careers once again. Right. It's interesting, in talking to Lillian Perry, Phil's wife, right? She immediately went to getting rid of those ads and dealing with the upfront costs of that.
Yeah, and how much is it really? And when you look at the ad removal, the cost of the investment, I mean, what are we talking about here?
Well,
see, the thing we say is we're talking about ownership versus sharing something that you don't even have a relationship with. The content ads that are popping up, there's no strategic relationship. The benefit is straight to those who bought that time into those ads to populate into your broadcast. So I would immediately remove those unless it's something that benefits me, because they're reaping an extreme benefit. It gets into a philosophy that we can't get into that with Phil Perry, what he shared with us about it, but I won't get into it now, but I think it's a worthy investment.
Well, the difference is most of us do it at our Ning sites because it's more affordable. Right. With Livestream, it's more of a cost. I'll give you an idea. I'm trying to give you an idea right now of what some of the professional services, the platform, the premium services,
right,
can include. But it does cost you more. It does cost you more. $350 a month.
Yeah. Yeah, with the and inherently, Mario,
$350 a month.
That's a large amount of money, and then you base it on what has already been proven as a successful model. Now, if you're just starting, and you're just not making your way into it, you have to sit there and take in what the risk for the cost and budget it out. And I still think it's worth it.
All right, let's discuss this briefly, you guys. And I'm going to give you my ins and outs. And I'm going to it right now. We're going to it right there at Livestream. If you go to the bottom, they have the premium services. You click on it and you go right there. Okay, now remember, this is the problem with some of these things. They don't give you a whole lot of choices. No. You have free. You have free $350 a month and $12.50 a month. Mm-hmm. That's not a lot of choices to me. There's not a $150. There's free $350, $12.50, and what it really has to do now. What's so interesting is that all of the plans allow you the potential to have unlimited viewers. Once you become verified, which is you go through their program of making sure you do everything the way they say,
Right.
and you get verified. They say you have people asking what's the most they've had. They say they've had over 100,000 viewers for an event without a problem, simultaneous.
That's a wonderful problem if you get to that amount, right?
Ain't it wonderful?
Yeah.
Ain't it wonderful? But most of us and all our people are dealing with the free plan. You get to have unlimited channels. But with the other plan, it's $350 a month.
Right.
Wow.
Hey.
So what are you saying, Vic?
No, I'm saying this. I'm saying if you want to play ball and you believe in your product and you really think it's worth it, I know people who have, and let's look at that cost again. When they say $350, $3,500 a year, I think the serious investor who's saying I do have a enterprise, I say line item your costs or what you're going to do. You notice nobody has a question about going in and doing production for their music. I said, so you'll spend more time in production. I said, but now do you want to have the brand? Is the brand worth that $350? Isn't that all subjective right now?
Well, there you go.
Yeah.
Now, else you could do ad supported. Now, remember, the difference is the ads that come up over the broadcast. If you take a look, like, for example, let's take a look once again. Here's Phil Perry TV. These ads that pop up over this.
Right.
All part of that.
And I think look, I think it's smart business. They're catering. Look, this platform is going to make its money through larger corporate investments.
Right.
That's the model for this. So if you're going to shy away and think the philosophy is going to change because that's the model they're using, just look at it this way. Your cell phones were hit with the same thing when they said, you know what, you're going to have to ask us to remove yourself. You are a doctrine of what we call access to corporate entities that want to have you on their mailing list, have you on their listing, and you have to proactively remove them. So you've already been invested in. So I just think that if you want to play this game, you're serious, you should consider, are the ads interfering with what your strategic initiative is? And I think it's a serious question to ask.
There you go. Well, take a look, by the way. I think the good news still is always what's so wonderful about the free membership.
That's the easy
If
one.
you take a look at what we're running right here, what we're showing you on Phil Perry's new channel that I just built, this is a free channel. I just have integrated everything, okay? Right. But take a look. I've uploaded 17 videos. We've got the ticker. One of the features that comes with all the channels is the ability to have a clickable, that means with links in it,
right,
ticker that you can click. And I've got that installed. What I did is set up also, don't want to get too complicated, but I set up an RSS feed and a separate Twitter account.
Right.
So that when you tweet into this account, when you tweet into the Phil Perry TV account, Twitter account,
right,
it shows up in this ticker. We all have those kinds of things set up for all of our people. Mm-hmm. We set up a special Twitter account so that when you tweet into that account, it'll end up showing in this ticker. Right. And that way we can it gives us a way to add things on a dynamic way to the ticker.
Yep.
But he's got 17 videos, and a number of people have been coming by dropping little notes in. And Vic, we've also got his full length. What I did, too, is I uploaded into his channel the full-length version of his rehearsal video.
Okay.
And that's now on demand.
Okay. And
so you can go and get that. And that's the higher quality one. So the interesting thing is Livestream, like a bunch of them, are giving you the better and better features, so it makes it less and less necessary to have your own website.
True. Now, was there any questions specifically that, say, for example, that Lillian had, or it seemed to be that she grasped it right away? In other words, you didn't have to really take her through this lesson, right? No,
Lillian actually, she did. She kind of grasped it kind of right away because she had certain needs and wants she used to for branding. It's just a matter of what does it cost.
Right.
She knows she wants ads off if she can.
Right.
What does it cost? Right. To have certain feature sets, what does it cost? And we bring this up because the other thing that you have to consider now for this one, I still say for most of you, the free plan is fine. But I think when it comes to the Ning accounts that you get, that's where it makes a big difference once again. because you have ads that show up there too.
Regularly.
That's right, on the Ning accounts.
Yeah. So it all depends. I mean, you look, it's a, what's the difference? The people who are not used to this will look at this and say, this is costly. This is very costly. I said, of course, it's, but the benefits that you can reap if you have a great, strong foundation of fan base. I've had this experience with Acapella the General, one of the artists who's in association with a lot of our broadcasts on our playlist.
Okay.
Once I got him to Livestream, he identified certain things that in the immediacy that other sites gave. That he says, "Oh, but they allow me to do this over here, not necessarily over at Livestream." I said, "Now look carefully." And then after about a week or two, he says, "Oh man, you know what? I realized I went through a lot of this stuff. It's pretty broad and diverse." I said, "I know. It's a broadcasting application.
Oh, Livestream is the
totally
best.
Different than going to a blog talk TV.
Sure.
Nothing. Not knocking them. I'm just saying you end up being the producer, director. You're really in development of how you present your product.
Sure.
So it takes a little bit more getting used to. So I'm all for it. I'm all for it.
You know what it was too? I went back to take a look at Reverb Nation, and I like what they have. And they have their package, and like a lot of places, you guys, I never can remember if I have a profile. So I always try to log in.
Right.
Lo and behold, I was able to log in. So we have a profile. And again, they have the same kind of a formula. They give you a basic package that's free, but then they charge you for these additional premium services.
Everybody got it.
That is the business model.
Yep.
Free, but you pay extra for extra services, or free and then you pay for speed.
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
All
I
right.
think the window is that people want to know if you're really serious. You're going to be judged that way, whether it's fair or not. Whether you say, "Hey, look, we can show you this," or you can make the choice. People won't have the advantage of dissecting your business. They're just going to look for the impact. And sometimes it can affect your fan base. If you tell somebody to go watch your channel and all of a sudden they're clearly supposed to understand that they want to see you immediately. If a 30-second commercial pop up first, you're asking them to please wait for 30 seconds. You'll understand. You'll see me. That's not the model that is sellable. And you just have to consider that. So if there's ways around it where you could tell people, "Oh, by the way, ignore the ads." If you want to do that, that may be a comfort zone. But you are telling them and sending them a message by saying the ads won't interfere with what we're doing. You can ignore that. I said you got to be very careful. I don't think you could look at it that way.
I don't either. Well, take a look at this one thing, this one page here, which actually compares on live stream the free account versus the premium account. Okay, it's the free account versus the premium account and what you get. Because I think this also speaks to their credit. If you notice, both of them, the free and the premium account, you can broadcast live instantly. You can switch between cameras in real time. You can broadcast 24/7. You can deliver video on demand. You can stream with any flash-compatible live encoder. That's technical. You can stream live from your mobile phone. That's still free and premium accounts. Okay? And you can unite teams with a collaborative virtual studio. Take a look at that. Now, this is, again, when it comes to the player, free versus premium, you both get the player you can embed anywhere. Both of them, you get a page you can customize. You don't have to download anything. All of them give you a viewer chat. But here's the first feature different. With the premium, the ability to have what they call the white label option. That's to remove that branding, like Victor said. Make it only your branding. You have to get the premium account.
Yep.
So you see, they're going to get you free. But if you want that, that's $350 a month. What do you think about the amounts? Is he still okay?
No, I think the amounts are high as it relates to people who are just starting indies and people who have not spent a lot of time in developing what they call an online presence already. I think if you're new to the game and you see this cost, you're going to go, okay, whoa, because you haven't been able to measure something and you want to get the return. But imagine that you already have this wonderful impact as an indie artist already, and you come in and say, man, we're reaping the benefits. We got a good start, been a year or so in the game, whatever the time. By the time you get to this and the cost is $350 or it's $3,500 a year, whatever you're saying, you already have a strategy. I think this comes into play when you have a well-oiled plan. But
well, let me tell you, I can tell you what Lillian's is, at least in a subtle way. I mean, in a general way. You know, the whole idea that you can sell your own ads and then get, sponsors, especially once you come back, when you get excited, like she said, when you come back to our platform where you have a 24-hour broadcast. Yeah. That makes it go another whole level, too, when you come back to the ads. So that's something that we're looking at. We are not spending the $350 right now.
No. We're just posing. See, I'm posing the position of, look, let me just play the other side. We haven't paid to remove any ads. Right. So what that means is that we're saying whatever level you're at, whatever you think, it's subjective. It's for each individual. So we're just saying that I think it's all subjective. And yes, what's the name of the game? Aren't we all trying to turn around and reap the revenue sharing for the advertising in some way? So aren't we going to follow a model that's similar to this, that we do want to get? So I'm not against it because I'm going, isn't that exactly what we're trying to do?
Exactly. All right. So I had to bring that up because people are still having issues. Now, remember, and I'm going to say this to you guys, they have a very well installed help system, but you have to log in. And here's the key part that I need that gets people get confused with, Vic. Livestream has a bunch of ways to log in. And I forgot that people can't get confused. They have the webcaster.
Yes.
When you come in, you have the webcaster, you have the procaster, and you have the studio. Yeah. The webcaster and the studio are both online ways to control your channel. One is just a simpler one, and that's the webcaster one. And if you want to see where that is, for example, you should log in. Always log in to Livestream, and I'm going to log in right now. So just let me log in. Okay. Well, these are all of the Vicks will log in. Okay, so we're going to log in. I don't know what this page is doing. A lot of stuff to let us. Yeah, I didn't have the password. So we log in. And this for all you guys, this where it gets a little crazy for a bunch of you. I have to admit, right off the bat, you start getting a little crazy. Okay, first you're going to go to your channels. Okay, or you could say skip and go to my account there. Now, for many of you, you're not going to have this many channels. You're just going to have one. But here's all the channels that we have. Now, this is where it gets confusing to many of you. Here's your channel. Like, here's Phil Perry. You can watch, use webcaster, studio. You can configure or embed. Embed takes you to where you can get the embed codes just to place the channel wherever you want. Watch just goes you to the profile version of what it looks like for people who are visitors. It's the webcaster and studio that allow you to control. The studio is the full-blown control system, and the webcaster is the little simpler one. But both of them have quite extensive feature set. I'm suggesting for now just use the studio one. Well, no. You can use both, but at least use the studio one because it's the big laid out one.
Right.
When you hit that, it's going to bring up this window where you're going to have to type in your password. Again, number of security measures. Okay? But that's important because going into the studio is where you're going to be doing most of your work. And believe me, Vic, almost everybody's had trouble with this part that I've just shown.
And why?
Because they didn't understand. In order to understand that first layout, you've got to read some instructions. Now, I suggest you take your time and do that.
Okay. So that was a wonderful exercise and read first.
You have to read first because it's not a place you just get in there and go whoop-de, whoop-de, whoop-de. Now,
right.
take a look here. I also going to recommend the help. See the help button up here near the logo? The help button. When you click that, comes up a box full of help topics, many of which have videos that accompany the topic. Okay?
And yeah, it's something about Livestream you should already understand too. They actually really approach this from that you're somewhat familiar with some form of broadcasting at a very basic level, just the terminology. If you say configure, some people go, okay, what does that mean to configure? You know, and I know it's a simple term, but
sure.
If they're not used to it, you can find a difficulty in this.
Man. And just like we said, another thing, if you really need what would really turn out to be remedial education, go get it.
Yeah.
In other words, you can, and I would suggest if you don't understand those things, just go search them on YouTube.
Yeah.
Go search. If you don't understand what configure means, you can search configure on YouTube.
Yep.
Okay? So again, we're showing you these things because Lillian too, people are getting in here wanting to manipulate the channels, wanting to add to the broadcast, and they can do it. Here you go to your control autopilot. Here's your storyboards. And you could open these up and drag the videos around. Change the order. This is what's playing.
Yep.
Now again, we're not here tonight to go through this to a tutorial.
Because you actually covered it.
Yeah, on live stream. I'm
Yep.
not trying to really do that. I'm just saying we are indicating what people should at least be trying to do for now.
Right.
Okay, that means get in using Webcaster or Studio.
Yep.
Once you get into the Webcaster, get used to doing certain things, adding videos,
right,
changing the orders. And we showed you there was a help function there.
Yeah.
Okay.
Got it.
Now, Vic, let's go back out.
Okay.
Let's log out of this because I want to show you the Webcaster. Now, it's a little less extensive. Okay, but again, here's your choices on a channel like Phil Perry. Watch Webcaster Studio. The Webcaster is a little less extensive, but it's also fully featured. Take a look. Pop-up window. Now, what you see here is that the Webcaster, Vic, actually is a smaller application. I'm moving some of this stuff around.
Yeah.
It's a smaller application.
Very simple go-to. You already kind of understand how it works at this time.
Yeah, it allows you to deal with the chat.
Yep.
You can see the video window there.
Yep.
Now, that's local, okay, but you could also hit monitor and take a look at the broadcast. Oh, yeah, that's the remote. So that's when you're looking at the remote broadcast.
Right.
See, that's what's being broadcast now. Mm-hmm. And you can adjust it to chat. Here's your meters for the audio. Mm-hmm. So a lot of people like this one. Okay, and if you want to go to the studio, you can jump right there by clicking this. Allows you to embed the player. So this is a one-window version of the control that some people find simpler.
Yep.
Especially when you're out and doing stuff on the go.
Yep. Nice.
Okay, now again, I'm going to log out of this. Where's the log out? Okay, you can just close this. And here we are back at Livestream where we have our channels. Okay, so now remember, again, we are stressing the process of getting used to your Livestream account.
Yep. So much so.
We're stressing that process, getting used to it, showing you once again the ways at least to get the first things caught up.
Yep. Sounds good.
Just want to remind everybody too, submit your questions by, email ahead of time. We also will be taking a look at some of the different setups as we go along.
Cool.
We talked to Christy Commodore. She's supposed to be getting some of her other projects, bringing some of those too.
Yes.
Some of the other fashion and design areas?
She actually will be. It'll be an interesting visit. She is scheduled to come and join us here on the Morning Coffee Show the first week of December. Returning. So it'll be interesting to see what she brings. So I think she has something to show us and tell us.
All right, you guys. Those of you who can't make it, remember the community manager meeting is for those of you out there attempting to run your own channels. So submit your questions to us. Also, other times we will have topics like we did tonight. But also you can submit questions to us about aspects of running your own channel. That would be things related to running the website at ning.com, running the channel setups at livestream.com or Ustream. We also talk about Justin. We're here. We're available for those of our regulars that are doing this and running these channels. Vic, any other things you wanted to discuss?
No. I wait for the questions. It'll be interesting. I think we'll be able to look at the next show because I think a group of the meetings that's coming with some of the artists, they have some great ideas of how to collaborate. One you'll be very interested in, and I think it's going to pose the next level of using a broadcast as it relates to how do you develop indie artist activity when they already are using live stream and take full advantage of it. Kind of blow it out of the water, something like what you've done, having multiple channels, not just one.
I got you.
Yeah.
All right, everybody. Once again, thank you for tuning in. This has been a community manager meeting, and we'll get you back to our regularly scheduled broadcast.
Sounds good.
Peace.
Bam.